after 18th century they have started writing, but why they have only written the novels? That was the questions. And only fictions they have written, and fiction and novel is equal. Okay, so fiction and novel they have written, so why? That was the question. So we have got that is in many portions, especially in England and the European countries, the women, they had the familial activities, okay, and they didn't have job, they didn't have their own identity, they didn't have their own money, and they didn't have their own room to think about the literature. That were the causes we found, okay. And we have got some other writings, especially 4 women writers, okay, Jane Austen, Emily Bronte, but we have got the information that 2 of them were unmarried and 2 of them didn't have the familial bondage, okay. So for this reason they have written, and they have written this good piece of writing, that is Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, Village and Middlemarch, okay. So these are the writings they have done, okay. And actually Pride and Prejudice, that is written by Jane Austen, okay. He is an English novelist, and Pride and Prejudice is one of them that was written by Jane Austen, okay. And it's a most popular English novel, okay. So they have written. And also Wuthering Heights, that is Emily Bronte, another female writer, she has written this, and that's very great novel, okay. And especially some other things that can be noted in this novel with praise. That means we should have the artistic genius in this writing, Wuthering Heights and that's Pride and Prejudice, okay. And also another writing we have got from another female writer, that is Charlotte Bronte, okay, and the writing was that Village, okay. So Village is also a novel written by the English author Charlotte Bronte, and after an unspecified family disaster, the protagonist Lucy, that means that is the story of the novel. That means Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte and Jane Austen, these are the famous women writers, and they have written some novels. They are also world famous still in many of your syllabus. That means in first semester or second year, second semester, or third year, first semester, you will be getting such kind of writing. That is Wuthering Heights and Pride and Prejudice. Okay. So these are still famous, and almost all universities you will get, on university syllabus you will get such kind of writing. So they have done well. Okay. And also another writing, that is the Middlemarch, Mary Ann Evans, George Eliot. It's his actual name, it's pseudonym Cholo George Eliot, and she has written this, and that is also a place, an important writing they have written. Okay, so what we have got, after 18th century women started writing, not only writing the famous writing, they have started writing, okay, and we have got the appreciation. So what are the reasons? That is, but the novels of the women are not affected only by the necessary narrow range of the writer's experience. They showed, at least in the 19th century, author characteristics which may be traced to the writer's sex. In Middlemarch and Jane Eyre, we are conscious not merely of the writer's character, as we are conscious about the character of Charles Dickens. Okay, but we are conscious about the women's presence. And this bring into women's writing an element which is entirely absent from a man's, unless indeed he happens to be a working man, a Negro, or one who for some other reason is conscious of disability. It introduces a distortion of the frequently the cause of weakness. Actually, we have got the identification of the man, not the women. We have got the writings that is written by male only, but women were not recognized as a writer, as a responsible person all this. Okay. So the genius of Jane Austen and Emily Bronte is never more convincing than the power of the ignore such claim and solicitations that to hold or affect the way of upper birth for scorn and censor. That means every time women had been getting the censor. Censor means যে তারা সমাজের মধ্যে একটা মানুষ হিসেবে তাদের যে পরিচিত এই জিনিসটাকে সবসময় প্রশ্ন করা হয়েছে, ক্রিটিসাইজ করা হয়েছে. দে আর নট ক্রিয়েটেড অ্যাজ আ হিউম্যান বিং, দে হ্যাড বিন ক্রিয়েটেড অ্যাজ উইমেন. উইমেন are also the human being, isn't it? So they are always considered as a weak counterpart of the society. সমাজের একটা দুর্বল শ্রেণী. In which perspectives? তাহলে কি তাদের মেধা ছিল না, তাদের ক্যালিবার ছিল না, তাদের অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেটিভ পাওয়ার ছিল না? এই উইমেন রাইটার যারা উইদারিং হাইটস, প্রাইড অ্যান্ড প্রেজুডিস, মিডল মার্চ যারা লিখলেন, তারা তো লিখে সেটা প্রমাণ করলেন যে তাদের মেধা আসলে ছিল. For the lack of their opportunity in a patriarchal society, you know, male dominated society. In a male dominated society, they didn't have time, they didn't have opportunity to explore their intellectuality, and for this reason they were lagging behind. Okay, so the great change that has crept into the women's writing is, it would seem, a change of attitude. So how we will be looking the women writers, and how we will be looking their activities, and we should also think that women should have some liberty to go out, to think in their own way, and to exercise their intellectual ability. তাদের কিছু স্বাধীনতা দরকার, তাদের ইন্টেলেকচুয়াল যে থটটা আছে, তাদের যে অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেটিভ পাওয়ার আছে, সেটাকে এক্সপ্লোর করার জন্য তাদের কি থাকতে হবে? একটা অ্যাটিটিউড দরকার. একটা অ্যাটিটিউডটা কি? একটা পজিটিভ অ্যাটিটিউড, দ্য ইয়েস ইউ ক্যান ডু. Yes, and that positive attitude that also changed in 19th century. Previously that was not. Previously the matriarchal society was very much dogmatic. Dogmatic, you know, they are very much adamant that women know we will like their husbands. Okay, women should be married according to the choice of their parents. But next time, after 18th century, the attitude of the male counterparts, parents, their monobhav change holo je, yes, of course they should have the liking. After 18 years, 20 years, naturally women and the men. Actually, there is another information. Do you know there is no difference between man skeleton and a women's skeleton? মানুষ মারা যাওয়ার পরে স্কেলেটন যে কঙ্কাল, এই মেয়েদের এবং ছেলেদের কঙ্কালের মধ্যে কিন্তু কোনো পার্থক্য নেই. One information. Another information, a man's brain will have the same capacity as a woman brain does. একটা ম্যানের, একটা কম্পিউটারের একটা ব্রেন আছে, isn't it? বাট কম্পিউটারের ব্রেনের কয়েক লক্ষ গুণ বেশি ক্যাপাসিটি আছে হিউম্যান ব্রেনের. বাট দ্যাট হিউম্যান ব্রেন যে একটা মেয়ে মানুষের ব্রেন হলে যে এর ক্যাপাসিটি কম হবে? নো, হিউম্যান ব্রেন ইজ সুপার পাওয়ারফুল. উইমেন ব্রেন ইজ পাওয়ারফুল, and also men brain is equally powerful. And how you can exercise the power? If you get the opportunity. আমি গাড়ি চালাতে পারি না, দেখ না, একটু চেষ্টা করে দেখি, তাহলে মেয়েদেরকে তো এই সুযোগটা দিতে হবে. In Saudi Arabia nowadays they are getting the chance to drive a car, but previously they didn't have. Before suffragette movement in England, okay, suffragette movement, that was the movement that was initiated for the votes for the women in England as well. Okay, and before that the women couldn't put their vote. Okay, so at that time women were not allowed to enter to the forefront in a society, and that was also happened for the attitude of what? Attitude of the male dominated society. And what is the question? And for this reason the women were lagging behind before 18th century, and after 19th century the attitude of the male counterpart of the society are changed a little bit, and for this reason they started writing. Okay, so the women writer no longer bitter. এখন মেয়েদের মেয়ে রাইটার আগে মনে করা হতো যে ও কি লিখবে, কিন্তু এখন সেটা নাই. The attitude was not bitter, that yeah, she can write well. And no longer, she is no longer angry. She is no longer pleading and protesting as she writes. We are approaching, if we have not yet reached the time when we are writing well. কোথায় গিয়েছিলেন আপনি? কেন ব্যাংকে কেন? We are approaching that we haven't yet reached the time when her writing will have little or no longer influence or to disturb it. That means whenever the positive attitude with that, okay, in case of when you will get inspiration, যখন আপনি একটা কোনো ভালো কাজ করলেন, যেমন আমরা ক্লাসের শুরুতে বললাম যে you have done a good job. That means if you get an inspiration from any counterpart of the family or the society, then the intellectual power will be manifold. আপনাদের যে চিন্তার চেতনাটা পজিটিভ ইনফ্লুয়েন্স পেলে সেটা বৃদ্ধি পায়, and at least the intellectual ability of the women that was influenced by the positive attitude, and next time that was not disturbed by any part of the society. Okay, so that was the change in 19th century. Therefore, the average novel by a woman is far more genuine and far more interesting today than it was 100 or even 50 years ago. Okay, that means what you can do. That means when an artist will be painting a portrait, যদি তার মেধার সমস্তটুকুই ওখানে সে মনোনিবেশ করে তাহলে আর্ট ওয়ার্কটা ভালো হবে, is it? Okay, so in the 19th century the women, they started writing and they employed all their intellectual level in case of writing that novel, and for this reason we are getting so many best novels in English literature. But it's still true that before a woman can write exactly as she wishes to write, she has many difficulties to face. After 19th century, now the writer Virginia Woolf is going to tell you some difficulties. What does women face? To begin with, there is the technical difficulty, so simple apparently, in reality so baffling, that the very form of the sentence doesn't fit for her. It is a sentence made by man, okay, and it is too loose, too heavy, too pompous for a woman's use. মনে হচ্ছে যে মেয়েরা এই সেন্টেন্সগুলো ব্যবহার করতে পারবে না, মনে হয় যে এগুলো শুধুমাত্র কার জন্য, পুরুষদের জন্যই তৈরি করা হয়েছে। বলছে না, এটা these are not suitable for the women counterpart of the society. This is for the men. So still there are some barricades and barriers. Yet in a novel which covers a wide range of ground, an ordinary or usual type of sentence has to be found to carry the reader on easily, naturally, from one end to the book to the other end. So this a woman must make for herself, altering, adapting the current sentence until she writes one, and that takes the natural shape of her thought without crushing or distorting it. Okay. So the prescription of Virginia Woolf is that if it is so, that until and unless women will be created, that it is my own creation, যতক্ষণ পর্যন্ত দাবি করতে পারবে না যে ইয়েস আমরা তো করে দেখিয়েছি প্রাইড অ্যান্ড প্রেজুডিস এবং উইদাউট হাইটের মতো ভালো ভালো নভেল লিখে, সেই রকম কিছু সেন্টেন্স, কিছু স্ট্রাকচার, সামাজিক কাঠামো যদি তৈরি করতে পারে মেয়েরা, তখনই সেটা কি করবে, এই যে অ্যাটিটিউডটা, যে উইমেনরা কিছু করতে পারে না, সেই অ্যাটিটিউডটা চেঞ্জ হবে। But that, after all, is only a means to an end, that the end is still to be reached only when a woman has the courage to surmount opposition and determination. Okay, as I have said, that yes, if a man can do that, why I will not be do that? Okay, Begum Rokeya Sakwat, okay, she is called the forerunner of the women empowerment and also the voice of the women. Okay. And one of the critique of Rekha Sakwat was that actually we are claiming on man counterpart for the women. That means women will be lagging behind. Why women are lagging behind? when women are not in front of the society, we say that men are responsible. But Begum Ruqayya Sakat, he said that another thing is that. What is the thing? That means the women are also responsible. What does it mean? It means that women should come forward and tell that yes, I will do that. If you can do that, I can do that. If you will have the equal opportunity to do something, I will have the same opportunity to do something. Okay, so women also should come forward to take the challenge and to protest the opposition. Opposition means then the male counterpart. Until and unless they will come forward, the challenge will not be accepted. Whenever the challenge will put that yes, the women will say to the man that yes, I can do this, we can do this, let's, okay. So what is the opposition? Who can't allow you to go out? Come forward. Okay. So that was the situation. And women should come forward to have their position. সমাজে, অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশনে, সমস্ত জায়গায় মেয়েদেরকে কি করতে হবে? আগিয়ে আসতে হবে. They have to take challenge. Yes, I can do that. Okay. So that was also claimed by Virginia Woolf that the women should come forward. It is probable, however, that both in life and in art, the values of women are not the values of man. মেয়েদের জন্য একটা বিচার, ছেলেদের জন্য আরেকটা বিচার. কেন? Thus, when a woman comes to write a novel, she will find that she is perpetually wishing to alter the established values, to make the serious and appears insignificantly to a man. So, whenever a woman will be going to write a novel, it means that women are going to change their values. What does it mean? It means that whenever women will be, যখন যাকে সাপ কামড়ায় সেই বোঝে সাপের ব্যথা কতটুকু। এখন আমি একটা মেয়ের চরিত্র নিয়ে, একজন পুরুষ মানুষ মেয়ের মনের পছন্দ অপছন্দ নিয়ে আমি যখন নভেল লিখব, তখন এটা প্রকৃত অর্থেই মেয়ের প্রকৃত মনের মূল্যায়ন হবে না। Okay, so whenever the women will be writing their own self, then that would be authentic. Okay, so that perspectives will come forward. That the woman comes to write a novel and she will find that she is perpetually wishing to alter the established values. That means man will be writing about women, that is the established values. No, from this day onwards, women will be writing about themselves, men will be writing about themselves. Okay, then we will get the authentic picture of what? That is the theme or subject or anything that is included in the novel. Okay. And in such a way, but here too, women are coming to be more independent of opinion. They are beginning to respect their own sense of values. And for this reason, the subject matter of their novels begins to show certain changes. They are less interested, it would seem, in themselves. On the other hand, they are more interested in other women. Actually, there is another case. Actually, Virginia Woolf said that actually women had been writing after 19th century. That's good. Okay, one thing is that they didn't raise their voice. মেয়েরা তাদের পক্ষে কণ্ঠ উঁচু করে আগে থেকে কথা বলা শুরু করে নেই, number one. Second one is that women are interested about writing about the other women. They are not writing about their own self. That the confessional writer Kamala Das started to write. Many confessional writers and other writers, they started to write. So Virginia Woolf pointed out that women will be writing about another women. At the same time, women should write about their own self. What is his her liking and disliking. So if it is done in such a way, that would be more authentic and true. In the early 19th century, women's novels were largely autobiographical. And for this reason, we have got a change in their attitude. In 19th century, the women's novels are largely autobiographical. One of the motives that led them to write was the desire to expose their own suffering, to plead their own cause. Now that this desire is no longer so urgent, women are beginning to explore their own sex, to write of women as women have never been written as before. So at the same time, women had been writing about their own self and they had been writing about the other women. Previously that was done by the male counterpart. আগে পুরুষ মানুষেরা মেয়ে মানুষ সম্পর্কে লিখতো, এখন মেয়েরা যখন অটোবায়োগ্রাফি লিখছে তখন তাদের নিজেদের পছন্দ অপছন্দের কথা লিখছে, পাশাপাশি পুরো নারী সমাজের ফর উইমেন, all women of the world, they have been the representative of the all women of this world. So they have started to. Here again other there are difficulties to overcome. For if one generalize, not only do women submit less readily to observation than men, but their lives are far less tested and examined by the ordinary process of life. Often nothing tangible remains in a woman's day. The food that has been cooked is eaten. The children that have been nursed have gone out of the world. Where does the accent fall? What is the salient points of the novelist to siege upon? Once upon a time had been women, they had been doing the familial activities. এখন সন্তানেরা সব বড় হয়ে গিয়েছে, সবাই আপন জায়গায় চলে গিয়েছে, এখন তাদের আর কি মনে হচ্ছে যে গুরুত্ব নেই, তাহলে what they will do? It is difficult to say. Her life has an anonymous character which is baffling and puzzling in the extreme. That means one quotation that can be said that actually friends love and others love can be reciprocated by some things. Only mother love cannot be reciprocated. Mother loves a child without any condition. Okay, but here they have brought up their child, but their child has been grown up, and they are contribution in somehow it is not admitted. যে মা তুমি আমাকে বড় করেছো, বড় না করলে তো পারতা। Okay, so the contribution is not the puzzling in the extreme. The what? Her life has an anonymous character. কোনো মূল্যায়ন নাই, কোনো চরিত্র নেই। তো বলছে হ্যাঁ তুমি আমাকে বড় করেছো ফর দ্য সেক অফ ইয়োর সেলফ। Why? That means if I would get good job, I will be helping you. So you could throw myself away at my infant. So that is the severe and extreme philosophy against women counterpart of the society. Okay, but in addition to these good qualities, there are two and that call from a word more of discussion. The change which has turned the English women from a non-decent influence, fluctuating and vague, to a voter, a wage earner, a responsible citizen. আগে তারা ভোটারও ছিল না, ওয়েজ আর্নার মানে চাকরিও করতো না, টাকাও উপার্জন করতো না, এখন তারা ওয়েজ আর্নার হয়েছে, চাকরি উপার্জন করতে শিখছে, and she has been a responsible citizen. এখন যখন রেসপন্সিবল সিটিজেন মানে কি, যখন women will be doing an administrative job, that means she will have the ability to maintain the official work or everything else. So she has been a responsible citizen. So all have been apprehended and admitted by the social system. The relations are now are not only emotional, they are intellectual. That means women are intellectual. They are political. That means they involve in politics as well. The old system which condemned her to squint accents at things through the eyes or through the interest of the husbands or brothers has given place to the direct and practical interest of one who must act for herself. So আগে অন্যের চোখে, হাজবেন্ডের চোখে, অন্যদের চোখে যেমন উইমেনকে দেখা হতো ইনডিরেক্টলি, তাদেরকে যেমন মূল্যায়ন ছিল না, now they are getting importance and value in the society from all perspectives, in political perspectives, in social perspectives, in administrative perspectives, and everyone. Okay, so naturally they are getting very good citizen. We may accept that the office of Godfly to test, which has been so far male prerogative. Okay, so that means the Godfly হচ্ছে একটা বড় আকারের মাছি, ডাঁশ। সো আগে যেটা চিন্তা করা হতো যে আমরা আশা করতাম যে একটা সমাজ থেকে এবং বিভিন্ন জায়গা থেকে তারা অনেক বেশি মানে মূল্যায়ন পাবে, সেটা সবসময় নির্ভর করতো ফর দ্য মেল। ওকে, একটা মানুষের সহানুভূতি, মানে যদি ইফ দ্য উইমেন ম্যান গেট দ্য সিম্প্যাথি ফর দ্য উইমেন, দেন উইমেন কুড গেট সো। বাট আফটার 19th century they have achieved that, women have achieved their status that they can do so. Will now and the man and women will not be observed wholly in relation to each other emotionally, but as they cohere and clash in groups and classes and races. That is one change from importance, but there is another more interesting to those who prefer the butterfly to the godfly. That is to say that the artist is artist to the reformer. So that means they have been godfly এর কোনো গুরুত্ব আছে, ডাস পাখির কোনো গুরুত্ব নেই, কিন্তু কিন্তু যদি সেটা বাটারফ্লাই হয় তাহলে তার যেমন একটা আর্টিস্টিক ভ্যালু আছে। বাটারফ্লাই দেখে সবাই পছন্দ করে এবং বিভিন্ন কালারের বাটারফ্লাই হয়। গডফ্লাই হচ্ছে এক ধরনের বড় মাছি, ডাঁশ গডফ্লাই, এটাকে অনেক সময় গো মাছি বলে যে। সো এদের যেমন কোনো মূল্য নাই, বাট আপনার 19th century they have been butterfly. That means women have got the appreciation, got approval, and they have been the responsible citizen. They will look beyond the personal and the political relationship. Now women can look not only the political and the personal relationship to the wider questions which the poet tries to solve, okay, and of our destiny and of the meaning of life. William Shakespeare has said that to be or not to be, that is the question. Okay, Jagannath there says that আকাশের উপরে আকাশ, বাতাসের উপরে বাতাস। আকাশের উপরে আকাশ বুঝলাম, বাতাসের উপরে বাতাস কি? হ্যাঁ, নীলাঞ্জনা তোমার হৃদয় আজ ঘাস। That means he has compared the heart of his beloved with ঘাস। কেন? কারণ ঘাস কখনোই সব সময় কি থাকবে? সবুজ কালারে থাকবে। That means that is the intellectual upbringing of the man. Now women can express that attitude. একটা লাইন যেমন কয়েক হাজার লাইনে ব্যাখ্যা করা যায়, from that time women can explore and the solve to our destiny and the meaning of life. So women are writing novel, other intellectual writing and everything. For what? They are getting approval from the society, and not only that, they have taken it as a challenge that yes, if he can do so, why I will not be able to do so. So the basis of the poetic attitude is the course largely founded upon the material thing. It depends upon leisure. তাহলে এই যে জীবনানন্দ দাশ, they started writing. Why? One day I have said in previous class, actually leisure is very important. If you always remain busy, then your brain will not have time to think about the matter. Sometimes কখনো মনে হয় যে হ্যাঁ এটা নিয়ে আমি একটা কিছু লিখি, কিন্তু এটা নিয়ে যে আপনি ভাববেন বা এখন মডার্ন মানুষরা যে ভাববে সেরকম সময় নাই। এই জন্য আমরা কি করি, আমরা এখন হচ্ছে যা পাই সেটা ডিপ ভাবনার কোনো রেজাল্ট না, মনে হয়েছে একটা কিছু রাইটার লিখে দিয়েছে। এই জন্য উই আর গেটিং সো মেনি রাইটিংস। হ্যাঁ, আপনি ভাবার কারণে, কিন্তু যারা বিজনেস করেন তারা বিজনেসের কারণে, ওকে, যারা হচ্ছে চাকরি করেন তারা চাকরির কারণে, মানে all will have the cause. Okay, but in the 19th century, in order to write a deep thing, it depends upon leisure. লেখক হওয়ার জন্য সবারই ইন্টেলেকচুয়াল ডেভেলপমেন্টের জন্য ওকে কি কি দরকার? একটা ফ্রি সময়, ইটস ডিপেন্ডস আপন লেজার, আ লিটল মানি। ওকে, কিছু মানি প্রয়োজন আছে, খুব বেশি মানি না, অবশ্যই কিছু মানি তার প্রয়োজন থাকবে। অ্যান্ড দ্য চান্স হুইচ chance which money and leisure give to observe impersonally and dispassionately. Impersonally, whenever you will have money, you will have leisure, you will think about the matter, and you will not be partial. যেটা আপনার ব্রেন বলছে সেটাই আপনি চিন্তা করবেন, because you have the confidence that I do a job, I have my own money, I have my identity, I have been a good citizen. So with all this confident level, your writing will be ভাত দে হারামজাদা নইলে মানচিত্র খাবো. Wow. That is the reality. She has observed. So such kind of writing, when such kind of deep writing will be possible, the writer will be impassionate and impersonal when they will have confidence. And what the things they will give the women writer confidence? That is money, leisure, a little bit money for maintaining his life and status as well, and also the leisure. They will make a fuller and a more subtle use of the instrument of writing. Their technique will become bolder and richer. Okay, so if the women will have the confidence, then their writing will be the best writing. In the past, the virtue of the women's writing often lay in its divine spontaneity, like that of the blackbird song or thrust, and it was untaught. Actually অতীতে যেটা হতো কি মনে হতো যে তারা এটা নিয়ে খুব একটা চিন্তা করে নাই, একটা লিখেছে, that means that is the divine spontaneity. যদি আগে যদি কোনো মেয়ে মানুষ ভালো কিছু লেখা হতো তাহলে ধরা হতো যে অবশ্যই she had some divine power. Without the divine power she couldn't have written such kind of thing in the past. But at present, after 19th century, they have achieved this for the contribution of the society and for the attitude of the society. It was from the heart. So nowadays, it was from the heart, but it was a talk split over paper and left to dry in pools and blot. In future, granted time, books and the little space in the house for herself. এজন্য ভার্জিনা উলফ অ্যাডভাইস দিয়েছে যে মেয়েদের যে ইন্টেলেকচুয়ালিটি, কারণ আমাদের টাইটেলটা হলো কি উইমেন এবং ফিকশন নিয়ে, এই ইন্টেলেকচুয়ালিটি ডেভেলপ করার জন্য ইন ফিউচার গ্র্যান্ট হ্যাড, তাকে কি করতে হবে, গ্রান্টেড টাইম, তাকে কিছু কি করতে হবে, সময় দিতে হবে, যে শুধুমাত্র রান্না বান্না এবং সন্তানাদি পালন করবে তো নো, গিভ সাম, অ্যালাউ সাম টাইম টু দেম, অ্যান্ড অলসো বুকস অ্যাজ ওয়েল. হ্যাঁ, এখন তো অনেকই পাওয়া যায়, ইন্টারনেটে ক্লিক করলে যেই বই পাওয়া যায় সবই বই পাওয়া যায়. ওকে, সো ভার্জিনা উলফ অলসো প্রেসক্রাইব দ্যাট গ্রান্টেড টাইম, বুকস অ্যান্ড দ্য লিটল স্পেস in the house for herself, a little space in the house for herself. In a house, whenever you will be alone, then you can think deeply. So in every house, naturally the boys will be getting a separate room, and girls, they will be living in their mother's room. If there are two sisters, they will be sharing one room. Okay, and especially the mother will not have any separate room. Mother will be sharing, যদি অনেক বেশি বাচ্চা কাচ্চা হয় তাহলে কোনো প্রাইভেট রুম থাকবেই না, তার হয়তো বাচ্চাদের সাথে অন্য জায়গায় মানে শেয়ার করতে হবে, তার কোনো প্রাইভেট সেপারেট রুম নেই. দ্যাট ইজ দ্য অ্যাটিটিউড অফ দ্য সোসাইটি. এই জন্য ভার্জিনা উলফ বলছে, অ্যান্ড ফর দিস রিজন উইমেন কুডন্ট রাইট আর্লি. দে ওয়ার সো বিজি for bringing up the children, and they were not allowed to do job, they were not allowed to like their husband in their own way, they didn't have the freedom of expressing their opinion, and also they didn't have to take part in the soldiers. তারা সৈনিকেও যেতে পারতো না, তারা গাড়িও চালাতে পারতো না, তারা যুদ্ধেও যেতে পারতো না. So in one hand they were busy in doing the familial activities, that means the family activities, chores, household activities, and other that they had no education, they had no money, and they had no opportunity, and also they didn't have any approval of the society, and for this reason they couldn't write well. Okay, And then at present, a work of art like any other, and the resources and its limitation will be explored. From this, it is short step to practice the sophisticated art hitherto so little practiced by women. So, to the writing of this essay and the criticism of the history of the biography, and that too, if we are considering the novel, will be of advantage. For beside improving the quality of the novel itself, it will draw off the alliance who have been attracted to fiction by the accessibility and with their hearts and lay elsewhere. Thus will the novel read of these exercises of history and fact which in our time have made so if we may prophesy that last stanza I am reading, if we may prophesy, women in time to come will write fewer novels but better novels, and not novels only but poetry and criticism and history also. But in this, to be sure, one is looking ahead to the golden, that perhaps fabulous age when women will have, that has so long been denied them leisure, money and room to themselves. Okay, so we started with a question, with two questions. When women didn't write before 18th century, they started writing after 18th century, and they have written only novels. And we have got the question in this essay that Virginia Woolf very categorically presented the answer. That means the social attitude, the opportunity of doing job, and the liberty and the social dogma. For many reasons, women were lagging behind, and after 19th century, they were getting freedom, but they were not involved in other activities. That means soldiers and some other activities. So, and for this reason, they only wrote novels. But at the same time, Virginia Woolf offered prescription that women should granted some leisure, some money, and an identity and a room of her own, so that they can write and they can exercise their intellectual power. And Virginia Woolf hoped that in future women will not only be writing novels. If they write novels, they will write the best novels, and apart from the best novels, they will be writing poetry, criticism and history as well. So that is the thing of this essay, Women and Fiction. Okay. Now we will have a quick question. Who is the writer of